You've seen the headlines blaring about betrayal, a billionaire clash that resembles a scripted wrestling match more than serious politics. Here we are, witnessing two of the planet's most influential figures ripping each other apart live on our screens, and honestly, it's riveting entertainment. But let's hit pause on the drama for a moment and shift our gaze from the flashy surface to the intricate gears grinding beneath it. What unfolded between Elon Musk and Donald Trump isn't merely a high-profile fallout. It's a stark revelation of who truly controls the digital terrain we navigate daily. When the wealthiest individual on Earth can single-handedly mute a former U.S. president and broadcast his confidential exchanges to the masses, it unveils a deep truth about contemporary power. Our so-called public forums aren't public whatsoever. They're private domains, and we're mere renters, subject to the whims of the proprietor. To grasp this, we must clarify the sequence of events. Elon Musk has executed a complete reversal. The same visionary who once restored Donald Trump's account under the banner of unyielding free speech has now imposed a permanent ban. And it wasn't a quiet exit. Musk torched the bridge by unveiling what the world now calls the Trump files. These are purported direct messages depicting a one-time leader of the free world mulling over legal evasions and escape strategies, sounding more like a desperate gambler than a statesman. Chances are you've encountered the viral screenshots flooding your timelines, the barbs exchanged, the ensuing pandemonium. Yet, if you fixate solely on the salacious details, you overlook the foundational economic forces that enabled this spectacle. At its core, this narrative revolves around ownership of assets, the art of leverage, and the collision between political influence and raw financial might. Consider your personal circumstances, your employment, or residence. You occupy those spaces via agreements with rights that are bounded by the owner of the property or enterprise. Extend that principle to the bedrock of democratic discourse. We habitually regard platforms like X as essential services, akin to utilities such as water or power. We assume entitlement to them, constructing our livelihoods and advocacy efforts upon them, believing our expressions are inherently ours. However, this incident shatters that delusion, proving it's a perilous myth. When Musk acquired the platform, he didn't merely purchase software and hardware. He secured authority over the speech norms for billions. He gained the capability to elevate allies and erase adversaries. This episode exemplifies the perils of commodifying the public domain. The owner has deemed the occupant problematic and issued an eviction notice. To comprehend the timing, we delve into the prelude, examining the inherently transactional bond between these titans from the outset. Recall Musk's initial takeover of Twitter. The rhetoric centered on safeguarding civilization and championing unrestricted expression. Many, perhaps including yourself, viewed him as a savior, rectifying a skewed apparatus. Trump undoubtedly did, perceiving Musk as a kindred spirit, a fellow magnate who grasped that regulations bind the masses, not the elite. But their pact wasn't rooted in camaraderie or aligned philosophies. It was a symbiosis of needs. Trump craved a podium, while Musk sought user interaction. Musk required the influx of activity Trump incited to sustain relevance. It was essentially a corporate alliance, unlabeled as such. In the realm of capitalism, collaborations endure only while mutually lucrative. Enter the notion of volatility. Economically, volatility equates to hazard, unforeseeability. Donald Trump embodies volatility incarnate. For an extended period, this unpredictability benefited Musk, fueling traffic, spotlight, and platform vitality. Yet a threshold exists where drawbacks eclipse advantages. If the whispers about those DMs hold water, revealing delicate legal deliberations or justice-dodging schemes, Trump morphed into a hazardous liability. For a capitalist steering a platform dependent on sponsor goodwill and regulatory leniency, you excise such perils without sentiment. Loyalty doesn't factor, you divest. This pivots us to the execution of the suspension. Observing how swiftly the toggle can switch is mesmerizing. One instant, you command a blue-checked profile with legions of devotees and instant global reach. The next, you're a digital ghost, a not-found page. This underscores the unassailable dominion of platform rule. In democratic frameworks, silencing demands due procedure, judicial oversight appeals constitutional shields. It's cumbersome and deliberate. Contrastingly, within a corporate regime, which platforms inherently are, such safeguards vanish. Only the proprietor's decree reigns. Musk bypassed judges and juries. A command sufficed. Moreover, owning the infrastructure and archives, he commands the chronicle. By disseminating these he's militarizing personal data in a manner that ought to alarm us all. If this can befall a ex-president, imagine the fate of ordinary dissenters. A labor activist rallying via the site? A reporter probing Musk's ventures? We typically associate censorship with state actions, but in ultra-capitalist paradigms, corporate suppression is swifter and tougher to contest. You endorse the user agreement, consenting to relinquish your online persona to a profit-driven entity, unconcerned with equity or veracity, but with revenue and authority retention. Preservation is precisely the essence of this disclosure. Ponder the Trump file substance. Clandestine dialogues where Trump allegedly frets over juridical vulnerabilities. Why do these reside on Musk's systems? Because Trump weighed the pros of platform access against data vulnerability risks. It's the identical bargain you strike with every app installation or sign-up. Privacy for utility, independence for ease. Trump, for all his bluster of strength, succumbed to the same snare as an impulsive youth texting recklessly. He overlooked the pipe owner's identity. And here, the hierarchy crystallizes. We lump elites together, but strata exist even among tycoons. Content creators like Trump generate buzz and draw crowds. They're the entertainers. Stage owners like Musk, however, wield the ultimate veto. Trump erred in viewing himself as an equal. He was, in effect, an unpaid contributor boosting metrics and ads. Once a detriment, he was terminated and humiliated publicly, akin to a superior plastering your confidential evaluation publicly for mockery. Absorb this. If a U.S. ex-president can't shield his dialogues from the platform's chief, what hope for you? You might rationalize, I'm law-abiding, nothing to conceal. But it's not about secrets, it's leverage absence. This exposure affirms your data isn't yours. It's an exploitable resource, deployable at the owner's discretion. Musk broadcasts he possesses the evidence cautioning politicians, executives, influencers. I monitor your app activities. Comply or face exposure. It's cyber intimidation. Now, scrutinize the principal players and their accountabilities, lest we succumb to idolization pitfalls. Donald Trump forged his legacy on media orchestration, mastering controversy to dominate discourse. Yet, he neglected independent foundations. Truth Social attempted it, but lacked X's scope and cultural clout. His shortfall was proprietorship deficiency. He stayed reliant on external channels, a lessee posing as sovereign. Elon Musk demands reevaluation beyond whimsical innovator or provocateur, as a calculated player in an economic arena. His duty lies with his stake, shelling out $44 billion burdens with obligations necessitating viability. Banning Trump and leaking messages signal a strategic shift, perhaps sanitizing for advertiser return or flexing control to appease overseers. Regardless, it's unchecked unilateralism. No democratic restraint curbs him. No potent supervisory panel exists. Solely the dominant stakeholders' caprice prevails. Where do governing bodies fit? Mostly they're bystanders, scrolling alongside us. This exposes a chilling regulatory void. We've permitted tech behemoths to balloon, embedding in discourse so profoundly they eclipse state functions and domains. When a civilian can gag a politico and unveil secrets sans warrant or process, we've advanced to novel capitalism, techno-feudalism. Musk reigns as baron. X is fiefdom, we the vassals tilling, praying against expulsion or scrutiny. This feud's ramifications extend far beyond the personalities involved, serving as a harbinger for digital rights' future. If this sets a norm, it legitimizes platform moguls exploiting user info for grudges or agendas, dismantling privacy norms. Today, it's Trump's legal panic DMs. Tomorrow, a reporter's source chats. Next, your health, finance, or activism messages. We're witnessing private data morphing into marketable goods. In Internet's dawn, the pact was tracking for targeted ads, problematic already. Now it's evolved. Surveillance not just for sales, but enforcement. From surveillance capitalism to punitive capitalism, they monitor to commodify, then to discipline, not merely peddling to you, but ensuring compliance. Consider trust fragility the bedrock of economies. Distrusting a platform's message confidentiality erodes its worth. Yet, as monopolies alternatives scarce, network lock-in binds you. Musk needn't fret user exodus to privacy-superior rivals. Competition's dearth absolves, dignity lapses. Monopoly perils transcend pricing. They eliminate user respect incentives. This fragility plagues digital-era politics, too. Love or loathe Trump, his base hinged on opponent-owned or apathetic corporate tech. A caution for progressives, unions, activists. Erecting on leased turf invites eviction shocks. We've ceded the agora to commerce, then feign surprise at profit ruthlessness. It's systemic intent. Zoom wider, this intersects end-stage capitalism and unrest. Extreme inequality concentrates power, evaporating stability. Oligarchs brawl over democratic remnants. Trump and Musk symptomize unaccountable capital detachment, laws on libel, confidentiality, civility, mere electives for them. This skews truth itself. Owning the site, Musk narrates the ban, curating leaks, framing tales. In social media news dominance, algorithm masters shape reality, amplifying anti-Trump, muting defenses, editing history live. Orwellian yet corporate, not state, harder to combat sans constitutional corporate shields. Founders unforeseen a solo Square owner. As fallout unfolds, memes analyses recognize structural collapse. Treating Calm's infrastructure as bets, not commons, yields ego clashes, sans wealth barriers. We're bystanders? No, the commodity. Our focus fuels their sway. That's our retainable power if wielded, but precedes solutions with human tolls. Platforms aren't AI magic. Humans operate them. Musk's button-push myth ignores coders suppressing accounts, admins querying DMs, safety teams bending policies. These workers, visa-bound, mortgaged familial face fear cultures, boss whims firing caprice, then demanding privacy breaches. Healthy economies afford ethical refusals. Consolidated tech strips them. Workforce corrupts, pros becoming accomplices or unemployed. Tragedy. Talent squandered on feuds, not innovations. Impact ripples to creator economy, euphemism veiling exploitation. Platforms promised liberation. Voice building, business forging. Felt valid briefly, but Trump's ban warns journalists, casters, entrepreneurs, livelihoods on sand. Not owners, but sharecroppers, content tillers for Musk's ad sales, sans land deeds. Sudden lockouts via arbitrary toss breed anxiety, self-censorship. Jokes, views weighed against risks, not liberty but control via economic threats. Gig precarity to expression, like Uber deactivations, digital erasures, sans recourse. Communities suffer too. Social media dismissed as unreal, yet vital for marginalized organizing, support finding, whistleblowing. One-man ego hostages stability, fracturing fabric. Scattering rebuilds tough. Networks irreplaceable. Fragmentation loses capital, hinders dialogue, organization, comprehension. Atomization eases control. Systemically, this charts 21st century capitalism, from open markets to enclosures. Internet dream decentralization, ownerless commons. Capitalism encloses, fencing parks, tolling. Meta Google captured connections, propertizing. Diving deeper into the origins, the Musk-Trump bond was always a calculated exchange, not genuine affinity. From Musk's Twitter purchase, the narrative spun around civilizational rescue and speech freedom. Supporters hailed him as bias corrector. Trump saw a magnate ally flouting norms. Yet no ideology united them. Pure utility, Trump's amplification need met Musk's engagement thirst. Symbiotic until unprofitable. Volatility's role, Trump's chaos initially asset boosting, spiking metrics. But tipping points arrive. DMS alleged content turned him toxic, risking ads, regs. Capitalists cut losses coldly. Bans logistics. Instant profile vaporization highlights sovereignty. No democratic hurdles. Corporate diktat rules. Owning data, Musk weaponizes. Ex-president vulnerable, so everyday users. Data's why. Trump traded privacy for access like app users. Forgot pipe ownership. Elite layers. Performers like Trump Draw. Stage owners like Musk Kill Switch. Trump employee-esque fired humiliatingly. Leverage lack data collateral, weaponizable. Musk's signal, comply or expose. Actors, Trump's media mastery but infrastructure fail, dependent tenant. Musk, rational investor debt-driven. Unilateral pivot for viability. Institutions, spectators regulatory gap. Tech supersedes state. Techno-feudalism. Leak normalizes data vendettas, privacy demolition. From AID's tracking to disciplinary watching, trust collapse. Monopoly locks users, dignity optional. Political fragility, movements on rented land evictable. Capitalism, politics intersect. Inequality breeds oligarch wars, unaccountable. Truth control. Algorithm, reality, shaping corporate Orwell, structural fail. Infrastructure as asset yields clashes. We're product, but power holders via attention, human inside. Workers execute, fear complicit. Creator precarity, sharecroppers self-censor, communities fracture, atomization controls. Capitalism trajectory, enclosures commodify conflict. Ideas, market fail. Company towns manipulate. Capture, platforms influence politics. Next, build alternatives, withdraw consent. Battle for human digital world.